Welcome to Nurse on Call. This podcast provides emotional support and general education from a licensed registered nurse. It is not medical or mental health treatment and does not replace care from a licensed provider. If you are experiencing a mental health emergency or an immediate danger, please contact emergency services or crisis hotline in your area. Always seek care from a qualified healthcare or mental health professional for individual concerns. Thank you. If you've ever said yes when you meant no, if you've ever felt guilty for needing space, if you've ever worried that setting limits make you selfish, please take a deep breath with me. Today, we're talking about boundaries, the real ones, not the harsh walls, cold detachment, but healthy, protective limits that allow love to continue without destroying you. Welcome back. I'm Mai, a registered nurse, and this is our place to breathe, reset, and feel supported. In the last 2 episodes, we talked about caregiver burnout and how burnout can slowly turn into resentment. Today, we're talking about how to prevent that from happening again and again into the future through setting boundaries. What are boundaries? Let's clear something up. Boundaries are not punishments. They are not ultimatums. They are not emotional withdrawal. Boundaries are limits that protect your physical, emotional, and mental capacity. They answer the question, what is sustainable for me? As caregivers, many of us were never taught to ask that. We were taught to be helpful, be available, to be patient, to be strong. Is this really sustainable? Can we, as caregivers, be that perfect? This sounds to me like someone who has no boundaries. When there are no boundaries, evidence shows that stress increases, and eventually this leads to burnout. And as discussed in the previous episode, when there is burnout, there is often resentment. Think of boundaries as preventative care. Let me use the example of annual physical examinations. We don't like them, but they are recommended yearly. I don't think anyone likes receiving vaccines or seeing their weight graph change. Why is it important that we go to them? We go to them for preventative screening and for treatment. They are to detect early medical health changes, to receive updates on clinical evidence, including vaccines, illnesses, updated resources, and treatment. It is there to monitor our individual trend of labs and organ function and to maintain our current medications. That is a lot, and it is intimidating. But what is the ultimate purpose of annual examinations? To prevent and or detect major health changes that include conditions such as cancer or chronic diseases like diabetes. Now let's go back to boundaries. Clarifying and setting boundaries helps us, the individual, to identify what we can and cannot endure as a caregiver. When we establish them ahead of time, we are able to function to what we can handle. Each case and individual is different, but we all have a threshold because we are human. This is the preventative part. What is the ultimate purpose of setting boundaries? To prevent burnout, resentment, and provide health stability for both the caregiver and patient or receiver. Why do boundaries feel selfish? Boundaries feel selfish for 3 main reasons. 1. Conditioning. Many caregivers were raised to believe good people sacrifice. Love means putting yourself last. So when you try to protect your time or energy, it feels wrong. 2, you may think, they're sick, I shouldn't complain. They need me more than I need rest. But here's the truth. Your needs do not disappear just because someone else has needs. 2 things can be true at once. That will coexist and it will never be inaccurate. 3, fear. You may fear being judged, you may fear being misunderstood, and you may fear being seen as uncaring or neglecting. This can lead to conflict. I knew a family whose mother got sick. The mother went from being total independent with all activities of daily living to assistance with medications, appointments, and ostomy changes. The family delegated one of the family members to provide cares to their mom through PCA servicing. The family member who was the PCA worked certain hours, and when she was off duty, she had her own family and kids to take care of. Off-duty hours became confusing because everyone else assumed that the PCA would be available 24/7. Boundaries and limitations were not placed by the PCA, which then, ultimately, this led to conflict within the family. How could have this been prevented? The PCA could have clarified her boundaries, what her duties are on duty and off duty, what she can and cannot provide, and requesting for alternative help when she's off duty. This definitely could have led to a better outcome, but was a learning experience for them. Ultimately, avoiding boundaries to avoid discomfort creates long-term damage. That is a fact. Signs that you may need stronger boundaries. Are you asking yourself, do I feel drained after most interactions? When I'm asked of something, do I say yes automatically? Do I feel resentful, but I don't speak up about it? Do I feel like I have no time, and when I do, it is not my own? Do I avoid asking for help because it feels easier to just do it myself? If you nodded to several of those, that is not selfishness. That's overextension. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about preventing self-abandonment. What does healthy boundaries look like? Let's make this practical. Boundaries and caregiving can sound like, I can help with appointments on Tuesdays, but not Fridays. I need one evening a week completely to myself. I can't answer calls after 9 p.m. unless it's urgent. I need someone else to handle pharmacy pickups. Notice something? These are not cruel. They are very clear. Clear is kind. Vague creates confusion. And here's something important. Boundaries are about what you will do, not controlling what someone else does. Instead of, you need to stop asking me, try, I won't be available during these hours. That shift protects your power. As a single parent caregiver, setting boundaries allow me to provide guidance to my kids. It creates a safe environment where we all can clarify our limits and strengthens our communication. Apply the same kind of system to a caregiver-patient duo for improved outcomes. When you first set boundaries, you may feel anxious. You may have some guilt, and you may doubt yourself. You may have an urge to over-explain your decision. That doesn't mean the boundary is wrong. It means your nervous system is adjusting. If someone pushes back, that doesn't automatically mean you're wrong either. Sometimes people are used to unlimited access. When access changes, there's discomfort. But discomfort does not equal harm. You can be compassionate and firm. You can validate someone's feelings without abandoning your own. Take this for example. I understand this is hard. I still won't be available to do that. Simple, calm, and steady. Here's the deeper truth. Without boundaries, burnout grows, resentment builds, and distance forms. With boundaries, energy stabilizes, respect increases, and connection becomes more sustainable. Boundaries don't push people away. They prevent emotional collapse. They allow you to keep loving someone without losing yourself. And caregiving should not require self-erasure. If you've been afraid to set boundaries because you didn't want to seem selfish, I want you to hear this clearly. Protecting your capacity is not selfish. It is responsible. You are allowed to rest, to pause, say no, ask for help, and take up space. You can love someone deeply and still need limits. This week, choose one small boundary, one sentence, one adjustment, one act of self-respect. Boundaries don't make you less compassionate. They make your compassion sustainable. If you are enjoying this podcast, I would love to hear more about your personal stories. Please email me at nurseoncallpod@gmail.com. I can't wait. Be kind to your body and even kinder to your heart. I'll see you next week. Nurse on Call.